back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown, broadcast on the Oilers Fanatic and the Heavy Hockey Network. My apologies, I've been absent for a few days here. Had to get some dental work done and just could not talk worth anything yesterday. And missed most of the hockey game last night between the Edmonton Oilers and Buffalo Sabres. And from the sounds of it, it was a good one to miss for the Edmonton Oilers. They hit a lot of posts, I heard. I think it was 5 in total. Stuart Skinner, a shaky first goal for sure, but still not a strong enough effort overall from this team. And there's been a lot of talk I've heard over the last couple days, and it's a growing concern with the coaching staff. Are we in for another coaching change here in Edmonton? I don't see that happening, but I can see where the talk is coming from for sure. There's been a lot of criticism of head coach Chris Knobloch's decisions, not taking timeouts, how he's putting his lineup together, and I can say right now, I do not believe we're going to see a coaching change here in Edmonton before the end of the season. I think it's the last thing this team needs is to see another new head coach brought in. It's just staggering how many head coaches the Edmonton Oilers have had over the years, so I think we can put that one to rest until at least next year. We're past the trade deadline. I think if the Edmonton Oilers really had a problem with their coaching, they would have made a change before now. But I guess we'll see how the Stanley Cup playoffs go, how the coaching staff handles that, how the team handles that. There's definitely been a question of how this team gets motivated, where their effort's gone, where their cohesion has gone. This team looks like a shell of itself at moments. At other moments, it looks great. Obviously, against the Buffalo Sabres was another step back. They looked fantastic for 40 minutes against the Dallas Stars before letting Dallas almost come all the way back. With a 5-1 lead going into the third period, you can't be winning 5-4. And the Buffalo Sabres, I believe, going into last night, were on a 6-game losing streak. To fall 3-2 to that team when the Edmonton Oilers really need to string some wins together here is just completely unacceptable as well. We know the Oilers just got some new additions in defenseman Jake Wallman, up front, forward Max Jones. We haven't seen the biggest addition yet at forward in Trent Frederick. He's going to be out for at least another couple weeks, it sounds like. I like the effect that Jake Wallman has had so far for the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers insider Bob Stauffer noting here, there is no question that the Edmonton Oilers' newest acquisition, Jake Wallman, plays a very robust game. Would not surprise me if he is part of the long-term solution as a top 4D in Edmonton. Worth the draft capital, moved in the deal, in my opinion, and I agree 100% with Bob Stauffer here. Jake Wallman just looks like a natural fit. That beautiful feed to Zach Hyman. Strong defensive play. He's definitely got the right contract for the next couple of years at $3.4 million, and the Edmonton Oilers should have, with the growing cap, more room to bring him in. And I think Jake Wallman is probably going to be a long-term Edmonton Oiler here if things progress as they currently are. Max Jones already looks like a natural fit with the Edmonton Oilers on the fourth line. He's been excellent since coming in as well. And I think Trent Frederick, when he does join the lineup, I have a feeling we're going to see him in a top 6 role on the wing. There was an option that head coach Chris Knobloch discussed, and I believe GM Stan Bowman mentioned it as well, possibly seeing Trent Frederick as either the third line center or a top 6 winger. Not to say that Trent Frederick is necessarily a top 6 winger, but we know from years past that he has offensive ability. And I just think back to a guy like Pat Maroon and how he worked so well with Connor McDavid, and Trent Frederick obviously more skilled than Pat Maroon. So I think there could be a fit there, possibly with Connor McDavid or possibly with Leon Draisaitl. We'll see what happens, but I think Trent Frederick will be another player that pulls the Edmonton Oilers into the battle, and I think that's really just what this team needs is some guys to pull them into the battle, to get that fight going, get that will going, get that energy raised up. This team just looks like they're half asleep sometimes. They're just not bringing it on a nightly basis, and not every team does, but this team has the skill, and they just need that will to get them going now down the stretch here and into the Stanley Cup playoffs. We've all seen what this team can be. We know they lost speed over the summer, and Dylan Holloway, Ryan McLeod, guys like that going out the door. But There's enough skill here. It's just finding that will, and I think guys like Trent Frederick, Max Jones, and Jake Wallman can make a huge difference for this team, and those guys just need more time to get into the system here, get acclimated, and get closer with other guys in the dressing room, and I think their impact will be felt even more down the stretch. And like I said, we haven't even seen Trent Frederick and what he can do for the Edmonton Oilers as of this recording. So I know a lot of people concerned, especially with goaltender Stuart Skinner giving up at least one more bad goal against the Buffalo Sabres the other night, but we know Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard are the Edmonton Oilers goaltenders down the stretch. There's the option, I guess, of bringing up Olivier Rodrigue, but Rodrigue really hasn't blown anyone away with the Bakersfield Condors this year either, so I don't think he's the answer to bring up. So it's basically Skinner, Pickard, or bust here for the Edmonton Oilers. Those two guys just have to find a way to raise their level as well. Show us what they can really do. Stuart Skinner helped this team get to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals last year, but as I've mentioned in other videos, if he's really going to silence his critics, he's got to get the Edmonton Oilers all the way this year, or we may look at a goaltending change in the summertime here if these two guys can't get it done for this team. But ultimately, the defense has to be better in front of those goaltenders. The offense has to deliver. Connor McDavid having an off year, as we all know, but if there's one guy that deserves to have a little bit of an off year, it's Connor McDavid, but I think he's really going to find his game down the stretch. He might have been saving it for the Stanley Cup playoffs a little bit. You just never know, and like I said, last game the Edmonton Oilers hit 5 goalposts. They probably should have beaten the Buffalo Sabres, but hitting 5 goalposts shouldn't have mattered. This team should have brought enough to beat the Buffalo Sabres regardless, and they just didn't. So I'm hoping the new additions can help, like I said, get acclimated in the room, get these guys going, find that energy level, find that will, and get this team going the rest of the way, and hopefully go in strong to the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's basically what I wanted to cover tonight, guys. My current thoughts on the team, but we'll see how it goes here going into the weekend. A couple big games against the New Jersey Devils, New York Islanders, and like I said, this team's really got to start showing who they really are, and hopefully the impact, as I've mentioned a few times here with Jake Wallman and Max Jones, can be felt even more, and then added to with the addition of Trent Frederick in a few weeks' time. So that's all I wanted to say for tonight, guys. I'm sure I'll have more for you tomorrow, as we can probably discuss the expected lineup against New Jersey on Thursday. So that's all for me for tonight, guys. Let me know your current thoughts on the team. Do you think they're going to figure it all out down the stretch? Do you think Stuart Skinner can get the job done? Let me know your thoughts on the Edmonton Oilers at present in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.